Everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 10 and compare it against the iPhone 12 Pro and see if one of these phones are worth buying in this day and age. Now, I like both these phones. I've used both these phones before, so let's go and see how both these great phones compare. If you want to pick up either one of these phones, links will be down in the description. You can get that from there, and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off side by side, there definitely are some pretty big differences here, as you can see, but you might think there's more similar. You might think there's more differences than there are. If that makes any sense. So the iPhone 10, this specific phone on the front, has a 5.8-inch Retina OLED display, and it's a pretty good panel. Since it first came out, I was a pretty big fan of it, and even now, I still think it's like a pretty good display. You have the notch up top, first iPhone to bring a notch, first iPhone to lose that home button and everything like that. We've kind of went over this before, but this was a really good looking phone, and I was really happy when Apple made this phone because this kind of signified the future of all of the iPhones Apple is going to be making, and it's still a really good looking iPhone for sure. Now with the iPhone 12 Pro, this is also a very good looking iPhone too. So this phone came out in 2020, and this was the exact phone I ended up using during that moment. Now I like this phone, I think it was pretty cool. Again, there wasn't a lot to complain about here, but the problem I had with the iPhone 12 Pro, well, let me wait for that actually. The front was a bigger 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED panel. It looked pretty good. Again, not too much to complain about. You had the notch up top too, but it wasn't a big deal. I think overall, Apple did a great job with this specific phone, and it looks really good on the front. I would say the front of the iPhone 12 Pro probably looks better than the front of the iPhone 10. Now, on the side of these things, these phones did have two different types of, stylings. So with the iPhone 10, you have the curved side, where the iPhone 12 Pro actually had that, flat side, which I think was actually really cool. So having this type of flat side on this phone was awesome. It was super important, and I do think that was a very cool thing. Now, was one way better than the other one? I don't know. I kind of like flat sides more, but at that time, I actually kind of preferred possibly a curved side, which is kind of funny. Now, on the bottom of both, we do have the lightning ports, which is very, very cool. And on the back, we do have glass backs on both. The iPhone 12 Pro has a frosted glass back, where the iPhone 10 has a dual camera setup. So between both these phones, again, I think both of them look great. I think something like the iPhone 12 Pro with its frosted glass back looked very, very nice. The iPhone 10 looks very good too. Again, not a lot to complain about here. But I do think at the end of the day, both phones look fantastic, and I like both these phones for sure. Now, they both have wireless charging, they both have IP certification. The iPhone 12 Pro does have that MagSafe capability though, which is like a MagSafe accessory. So you can go ahead and throw in like different, the wireless charger. You can throw in like MagSafe wallets if you want to. Super cool thing, I'm really happy about it. The iPhone 10 did not have that, but you can always get like a case that probably has some similar features. So at the end of the day, that's kind of how both these phones kind of compare on the outside. Now, in terms of the software and the longevity portion, since both of these phones are on iOS, they're both going to be getting same-day updates. So whenever the 12 Pro gets an update, it's probably going to be the same day the iPhone 10 gets an update as well, which is very cool. Is one going to be lasting way longer than the other one? Clearly, yes. The iPhone 12 Pro is going to be the longer-lasting phone here. This phone came out in 2020, 3 years sooner, I guess, 3 years after the iPhone 10. So this is going to give this one, more points in that perspective, which I think is awesome. So again, if you're wanting to get the phone that's going to last the longest amount of time, the iPhone 12 Pro is probably going to be the better way to go. But I think the iPhone 10 is still a very good phone too, but it's not going to be supported as long as the 12 Pro, so that's kind of where the issue lies. So now let's go do a speed comparison between both these phones. The iPhone 12 Pro has that Apple A14 Bionic chip inside of it with 6 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 10 has that Apple A11 Bionic chip inside of it with 3 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go see which one's the faster one between both. Okay, there we go. All the apps are clear on the background, so let's get into it. 12 Pro's here, 10 is here. Phone calls 3, 2, 1. Okay, kind of the same thing. Let's go ahead and do settings 3, 2, 1. 12 Pro is probably faster. App Store 3, 2, 1. Okay, I completely messed that one up, but we'll still load it up. I was about to be surprised that the 12 Pro would load it into it faster. Let's go and wait a second. Scrolling through these, let's see if there's one that's way faster than the other one, which I don't think is going to be the case. They're both going to be fairly fast for the most part. And you can kind of see that both of them are very, very fast. I think the iPhone 12 Pro has done a pretty good job here, but the iPhone 10 is still very fast as well. And even swiping out of these, both are 60 Hz panels as well. Camera, 3, 2, 1. Okay, about the same thing. Photos, 3, 2, 1. Okay, about the same thing as well. Let's go and load up some of these third-party applications that I have. And very, very similar between both. Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. Okay, the iPhone 12 Pro Looking to be a lot faster here than the iPhone 10 for these bigger types of applications. Temple Run 2 is not a big application, but you can kind of see here there's quite a big of a difference here for sure. Hopping out of these two, let's go and try the Genshin Impact, which I should have here, and it looks like I actually don't, which is very, very sad. We can try another game. We can try something like Subway Surfers 3, 2, 1. Of course, we have to download an update, so we'll just scroll to this one. Let's go and do their Files application. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Let's try iTunes Store. 3, 2, 1. Okay. 2 different types of panels here, too. Let's go and try Translate. 3, 2, 1. Okay. iPhone 12 Pro is faster there as well. And we can try something like Apple Watches. 3, 2, 1. So there's definitely a lot of differences and a lot of similarity, but I will probably tell you that at the end of the day, a phone like the iPhone 12 Pro is probably going to be the faster phone when it comes down to it. 12 Pros are, because it's a newer phone, it's always going to be giving you faster performance and everything like that. I still think the iPhone 10 did a really good job here, but I think the iPhone 12 Pro clearly is the faster phone for sure. So that kind of covers it up there too. Now, in terms of the camera setups, the iPhone 12 Pro does have the overall better camera setup here too. Who would have guessed it? It's a newer iPhone. That's usually how it goes. So with the 12 Pro, you're going to be getting a wide, ultra-wide, and telephoto lens here. And those are some really good sensors to have on an iPhone. With the iPhone 10, you're getting a wide and telephoto lens. So again, it's kind of up to you, but having that telephoto lens, or still nice, but having that additional ultra-wide sensor is a really nice touch too. 4K at 60 on the back, but the iPhone 12 Pro can do 4K at 60 on the front, but the iPhone 10 cannot do that. It can do like 1080p, which is still good enough, but definitely 4K at 60 is better. The iPhone 10, you are getting that video mode, slow mode, time lapse, you're getting portrait mode here, square mode, and panorama mode as well. This is still, I would say, a pretty good camera. I'm still a humongous fan of the way this camera is, and I think that kind of stuff is really cool. So is it perfect? Clearly not. This is not a perfect camera by any means, but I do think when it comes down to it, Apple did a great job here, and that kind of stuff is really cool. Having Apple go through and make these types of cameras is awesome. The iPhone 12 Pro is definitely a better camera sensor every single way you could think about it. So this thing, you are getting that 0.5x zoom, so you can zoom out, which is really awesome. You can zoom in 10x, which is still, I think, plenty. You can have video mode, slow mode, time lapse. You can have portrait mode and panorama mode as well. And that kind of stuff is really cool. I think having those types of features is awesome, but I don't think it's one of those I don't think it's one of those features you have to have, like the zooming in and zooming out. You don't need it, but it's still a really, really nice thing to have at the end of the day. So to kind of sum up this whole entire video, I don't know why the screen's not working now, but to kind of sum up this video, what I'll tell you is I think the iPhone 12 Pro clearly, I think, is probably the better iPhone in majority of ways. I think there's not many ways where the iPhone 10 wins besides price tag probably. But the iPhone 12 Pro, you're getting flat sides, really good build quality, beautiful phone, and it still performs fairly well. The battery health is the only issue I've ever had with a phone like the iPhone 12 Pro. But the iPhone 10 here, very solid phone too. I like this phone a lot, and I do think it's probably one of those iPhones that I look back at, and I'm still very, very happy with the way Apple made this phone. I think the build quality is awesome. I think the screen looks great, but I think the iPhone 12 Pro clearly is the better one here in pretty much every single way. So that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, soul.